Hey, welcome back to my channel. So I thought today I would do a different video, and if you clicked on the thumbnail, you would know this video is about staying in low income housing. So if you clicked on this video, one, you're either in this current situation, two, you can relate to the video and you went through something similar, or three, maybe you're just curious about someone living in low income and how did they end up like that, or if they're just plain lazy, which is one of the big misconceptions. So I remember I was pregnant as a teen and I was in college, and I asked one of my classmates, because I didn't know anything about low income. I mean, I've heard of it, but didn't come from it and never lived in that environment. And she kind of took me around and she did me a favor and got me some applications. So she got me about 3 applications. We got this booklet full of all these places, and we picked out 3 places, and she was familiar with those, and she drove me around and we got some applications, and that's how it started. So I finally decided on one of the buildings that I was going to move into. um First appearances, it didn't look too bad on the outside. I didn't see the apartment yet, so I got all my documents together. You had to pay for your background check, so I got someone to take me downtown. I think it was a sibling, to get a BCI as a background check. And I did that, got all my documents together, turned in the application, and I believe within 6 months I was called back and I got approved. And it looks, I mean, the apartment was simple and it was clean. It did take me a while just to get used to my surroundings, just because, not because everything was just simply bad, but because I just wasn't from there. I wasn't familiar. I didn't have a familiar face. So it was more so that for me. And plus, being on my own, this was my first apartment. So it was a dramatic change from living in the suburbs to going to low income housing. So it was a big change. And just because I didn't know anybody for the most part. So I moved in my apartment, and after my mother found out about it, she did help me. We got furniture and I kept it up clean. I'm sorry I don't have any pictures to show you right now. And that's just one of the misconceptions that I do want to get out the way. Like, just because you stay in low income housing or under projects, it doesn't mean that your house has to be infested or you're not clean and dirt is just dirty. I kept it up. I always got compliments. But the only thing I can say about it was I was never 100% comfortable. And I think my past either can work for you or against you. As far as my past prior to moving to the projects, it worked for me because I never mentally had the mindset of, like, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna get comfortable. I never got comfortable, and I stayed there for about 2.5 years. But it's just so many different reasons why people end up in these situations. And for a long time, I was ashamed. I didn't want to discuss it. I didn't want to tell anybody, oh, I came from this building, because there's just so much shame associated with living in low income. Like, people don't usually want to discuss it, and some people do as a testimony, and I think we should. So it took a while for me just to get past. So, like, here I am. My first initial plan was, okay, I'm gonna move here, I'm gonna have my child's father with me. So I'm like, okay, I will be fine. And the situation just didn't go as planned as all. I mean, usually when you have a baby that young, things don't go as planned. So the relationship was really rocky, and I ended up there. Basically, I was by myself, and here I was with a baby and trying to just navigate life. an apartment on my own for the first time. I'm in an area I don't know anything about, and just trying to make the best of life. And I have really had to sit down and just try to work my way through it. And I just want people to know that people that's in that situation, they're not lazy. Everybody is not dirty. I just want to get that out there. When you're young and you're not making a lot of money, of course, then you have a child, it's like you working your way, you're going backwards and you have to work your way forward. So that was one of the issues and obstacles I had to face. I had to come up with a plan. So after things went left with their father, like, I didn't have that support. I still have some support from my mother. She was there. She's always been there. But I was an adult and I had to figure this thing out on my own. I eventually got her into daycare, and I spoke with one of my siblings, and they encouraged me to get into early childhood. So I did start off as an early childhood educator, and that was one of the steps that gave me like steady employment so I can think of a plan on to work my way out of the situation. So she started attending daycare, and I started taking my early childhood classes. And this was just a certificate program just to get your feet in there so you can start working in the classroom as an aide. And I took that program for close to a year, and I got my certification, and that just really opened my eyes. And that was like my big ticket on getting out of there. Now I just want people just watching this video, if you're currently in a situation, just to, if this is something that you want, that's fine. If it's going to work for you, I think you should stay until you get financially stable. Like, my first initial response wouldn't be just to jump out there and pay market rent. There's nothing wrong with using it as a tool to better your life. It's a stepping stone. Or some people have situations where they had to return back. Now, hopefully or thankfully, I didn't have to return back. That don't mean I didn't struggle, because life, everybody wants to think that life is it's a straight line, but it's not a straight line. It could be up and down, and you have different obstacles. It just never goes completely smooth. If everything's going smooth, then maybe you just have to reevaluate some things, because nothing is ever just that smooth. So, like I said, I thought of a plan and I got out of there, and I was just like never really comfortable, but I made the best of my situation. I went to school. I still had my values. Like, that don't change. Everybody that's in the same situation or the same building or whatever is not, they don't have the same mindset. And I just want everybody just not to put everyone in a group and label everyone you're lazy just because you in this situation, or you don't want better. Like, always strive to do something better. If you're in this situation, just think of a plan for the long term, a long-term plan on your goals of being financially stable and getting out of the situation. And another big distraction, just having the wrong people around you. So I did start dating again before I left the projects, and it was a friend that I knew prior. But sometimes dating someone and knowing someone as a friend is completely different. So I kind of fell back into another bad relationship, and it kind of spiraled out of control. And just for years, like, I was just so ashamed, and it's just like, it's just traumatizing. Like, no one wants to think about it, but it's things that need to be talked about. Those are barriers, those are obstacles that can throw you off of your goal and have you stuck in one place, just mentally and physically. Like, mentally, you have to continue to push forward. And then you have your kids that's looking for it. If you have kids in this situation, you want better for them. Like, I always wanted my kids to go to a nice school and have a yard, and you can still have that with low income housing. But I want to be somewhere with comfortable that was used to my standards growing up as a kid. I wanted my child to have the same thing. And you can have that, and you can use these tools out here. I don't want anyone to ever feel ashamed like I did, like where they come from and getting public assistance. I don't want anyone to feel ashamed of that, because there are people in the system that can make you feel bad or talk down on you, because I noticed the difference how I was treated being on assistance versus now, where I'm able to maybe pay for things and I'm not on, a special assistance program. I just noticed the difference in the treatment, but I don't want that to deter you of getting help, because there's bad apples everywhere. In every level of life, there's going to be negative people. So don't let that deter you. And one day, you might have someone that's a worker that's really nasty to you. You never know in 5-10 years where you're going to be at. I mean, you maybe can surpass them. It's not a competition, but don't compare yourself to anyone else. I just want you to know that your situation is your situation. You know what you have to do. Don't let anyone devalue you or put you down. And that's kind of what happened, especially dating in those situations. It's just best if I can go back and give myself some advice. I wouldn't have dated. I just would have worked through my goals, and I just would have left it at that, because it just wasn't a good time for me, and it kind of slowed me down. But there are some positive takeaways from the situation. For one, I became stronger as a parent. I mean, I only had me to rely on. And I'm the youngest of 7 kids. Yes, I'm the youngest of 7 kids, a baby. I feel like all my siblings were my extra parents. And so this situation, I really had to stand on my own for the first time in life and really make my own decisions. And this experience really made me a stronger person, believe it or not. Just navigating through life, dealing with the bad relationships, an environment that I'm not comfortable, an environment that I just never really wanted to be in, but I didn't really have much of a choice. But it was best financially at the time for me. I learned how to budget. I learned how just safety, how to maneuver in any environment. So now I kind of have that experience with others. If I see someone going through that now, it's like just something in me. Like I just want to lend an extra hand to you, or a conversation, or some advice, because I've been there and I feel like I can relate to people like all around. And I'm thankful for that experience, because it made me stronger. I'm still always going to be a sensitive, warm-hearted person. I don't think that's ever going to change my personality, but it did indeed make me stronger, made me wiser. I mean, a parent, you have to be not just book smart, but you have to be street smart. And I was able to maneuver that, and I just got to give myself a pat on the back and be happy that I was able to get through the situation and get to the other side and move on with my life. Like, you have to praise yourself. When you're in this situation now, give yourself praise. I mean, you need the basic necessities in life. You need food, water, you need shelter. You have to start with that before you can advance to the next level. Don't let anyone make you feel bad. And if you have to go back to the situation, like, I see you. You have support of others out here. Don't let anyone make you feel bad. You have to do what you have to do for yourself to keep going. And like, everyone's situation is special. Don't let anyone judge you. That doesn't mean you're not a hard worker. And guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm so happy to share some of my testimony of when I went through. Yes, it's scary being a young parent, and it's scary being on your own, and a change of environment is also scary, but life doesn't have to be scary. And I also just thank God for keep going and never stopping and letting anything deter me. So now that baby that I had when I was staying in the project, She's in college and she's earning her bachelor's degree. Like, she's doing things like in the order that I wish I would have done, but that just makes me so proud and just happy that I know that I did something right. Like, all those sacrifices and trying to stay strong mentally and spiritually, it was all worth it in the end. So if you're going through this, like, don't give up. I just want you to keep your head up. It's a lot of ignorant people out here that got these misconceptions. Don't pay that any mind, because that doesn't apply to you. So if it doesn't apply, let it fly and keep growing. And you have my support. And guys, I'm glad I got a chance to share this story with you and get this off my chest, because I feel like people need to hear this and other people need to share their testimonies. So low income is not the end in a life. It could just be just the beginning. So guys, thanks for watching, and leave a comment. Let me know your testimonies or make some videos and keep it going, guys. Other people need to hear this.